great Merry Christmas to all. Hope you all, congratulations, Brian. That is the beauty of your life right there. We are so happy to share in the news of that great miracle being born. CTM, blessings to everyone and their families. What a beauty. Wanted to make sure, and I'm sorry, you guys know that I'm always super prompt and on time. I apologize here for running late today, and thank you for the graciousness that you all do offer. We do finally have the internet up and running again, and we are ready to check in and whoa, and make sure that we continue to stay grounded. I have some exciting news. I don't want to build into it. I want to let you know right away that we are on the verge of the release of CTM V4. My expectations will be that if everything goes well and the stars are aligned, would love to get this out by Monday the 12th. And because life is life and reality is reality, coming back obviously to the office that first week, it might not be possible. And if things do not go as intended as in planned, then we're going to aim for the latest release date will be the 19th, so that moving of January, so that moving into 2026, we do have the outstanding last 2 years of work and development on CTM 2.0, moving to CTM 2.0. Now we have version 3 and 4 being rolled out together into V4. By the way, right here on the chart, you're looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin here on the buy side only since the bull market began in January 2023. Late December, CTM 2022 called the bull market breakout 17,250. And if you were looking at buy and hold, just on the buy side alone on V4, you could see that right now as Bitcoin has pulled back off its all-time high pretty substantially, you could see the outpace of buy and hold is substantial. But more importantly is two things. You can see that it has always outperformed buy and hold, even when up and to the right. And I think that probably the single most important lesson of 2025 is during, up price and up and to the right. Why not just buy and hold? And the answer is because no one knows what's going to happen next at any point in time. Now, if you add in, which many people trade both sides, if you add in the buy and sell side, the outperformance here on V4 during those last 3 years during the bull market becomes pretty substantial here. Adding in just the sell side love, the sell side action over here, you could see instead of a 411% return, you're looking at 957%. Very substantial indeed. So I am looking tremendously forward to being able to get this out to the community. This is going to be, I think, just beautiful to embrace as we move into 2026. This is Ethereum over the last year, 2025. Cardano over the last year, 2025, was able to, let's say, withstand the Trump. That nonsense would not be an appropriate word for just how reckless those tweets were. If you remember, he talked about like an altcoin reserve and including Cardano in it. Price of Cardano moving up in 24 hours over 100%. Then finding out that that was completely, again, reckless is, I think, the most kind way I could put it. That was incredibly difficult, incredibly difficult. I think next to launching the Millennia coin and Trump coin, probably up there with it. Anyway, really bad look. Cardano on V4 able to maneuver with even such unseen events, and Solana able to be in the green. A tremendous difference here V4 is going to offer us. That was absolutely completely reckless. JC, CTM 2026. Not so. This is V4 is obviously a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous advancement here. It takes things like knowing which of our templates we want to take a look at. It makes it much easier because instead of do I trade BTC 107, 101, 108, Bitcoin bull runs? At this point, no, the answer is our best performing template across the board is V4 when it comes to Bitcoin. Buy side boost, Phoenix Fire has already put into the channel the back test work on there, and you know it is a substantial improvement. And then we look at things like where else I want to hone in for 2026. And it really comes into equities and adding the buy side boost ability. Right now, you look at Tesla, and Tesla's holding an open position. It's on the verge of closing. I shouldn't say it's about to close. We don't know whether or not it's going to have exit criteria by the end of today's session, tomorrow. Anyway, it's on the verge here of closing in and locking in a small gain, but it's the only position open. It's 1/6 of the total templates. Tesla does have a tight stop, allowing it to potentially be a buy side boost candidate. NVIDIA as well, and MicroStrategy as well. And you know the things with the wider stop losses, TQQQ, IBIT, FNGU. And by the way, just a reminder to myself, I want to look at bulls as a potential addition to our array very quickly in 2026. It seems that using the FNG template is a good starting point to get there. Long story short, the way that I view buy side boost for equities is that you take the 6 templates and you cut them in half. You have 3 FNGU, TQQQ, the spot Bitcoin ETF. Those are traded just each as 1/6 of the account. And then the other half of the account, the other 3 templates, Tesla, NVIDIA, and MicroStrategy, those use buy side boost. And I think then that is going to be able to amplify our profits and a better use. That's Trump. China. I don't know what's going to happen in 2026 between the two, and I don't think that we are in for any type of smooth resolutions. Anyway, we'll deal with that as it comes. So JC, books for chart patterns. No. Maybe something like the Encyclopedia of Technical Analysis is probably super fantastic. But the problem is not the problem with that. That is a fantastic resource. But today on the internet, there is just a enormous amount of information. If you're looking for chart patterns, I mean, you never trust an LLM. is that is that an actual saying? Never trust an LLM. It should be if they make things up all the time. And if you happen to be very astute in any area, you know how erroneous the information is. However, it is a bangbuster resource as far as not much different than the internet. It is the internet at a faster pace and more accessible. You could find, if you were looking for chart patterns, you could look at what are the most profitable chart patterns, which ones have the highest percentage, which one have the highest failure rate, and maybe look to trade only the ones that are failing. It all becomes very subjective unless you make it as, let's say, rule-based as possible. You could look at what topping formations are, what bottom formations are, continuations of a trend, things like you could look for wedges, which are super fantastic, bear flags, bull flags, continuation patterns out of trends. Or you could look for what is arguably up there, CTM 1.0 execution style wise. Speaking of which, we over here on Bitcoin, and just what I'm watching over here, we continue consolidating here in what looks like a bearish continuation pattern. Let me just go ahead and jump in and get it in. So much as that we are in a downtrend. And that is, you can see the continuation of the three touches, 1, 2, 3. And then I've highlighted this area, which is the resistance that we need in order to have the first meaningful repair to happen. Meaningful repair. You can see that structural line over here. This would be the first repair, a conservative trendline break 1.0. If that were to happen, that's the earliest opportunity of a repair being made. This would be the first meaningful repair. And that also, this one over here is the doozy. This is the line that we've looked at together. I think I have it right here next to us. I'm going to just zoom out 1 second. There we go. This is this area over here of the spot ETF shakeout, of the Japanese yen unwind, the structure that we gave up. So even though still we haven't made a lower low than April, structurally we have, so we're vulnerable over here. We're vulnerable, and you can see that with the RSI oversold over here. You see some people saying, well, over the last 3 years, whenever that's happened, we should see roughly in 80 days Bitcoin trading at $170,000. It's like, well, I don't know. In a downtrend, anytime that you become oversold like that, and then here you go see a downtrend, you can see oversold right over here, January 2022. If you take out the resistance from oversold, it has led to a leg down. Here in May, you have another oversold period, and you can see if I put a trend line right there, you can see that's where it formed. But if I put one over here, when you break it, it led to another leg down. Here in June, again, oversold. Here's the resistance, leg down, not so easy, but ultimately leg down. And here, where you got oversold in November, you never took out the trend line. Here, where you got oversold in March, you never took out the trend line. Here, where you got oversold in, I think here you do. That's a tough one right there. Here you do, right? So you get oversold and you break below right here. Did it make the leg down? Right? Where's your risk? I would have to be all the way up here. All the way up here. So that's one instance where that doesn't work out so well. It's not fail safe. So over here, that's the worry. We are oversold. If we take out this resistance 85,000, that's likely. Of course, you just looked at the one exception, which was a fake out, a fakie, a liquidity grab. So always be on alert. That could happen, but this would be something to watch out for where we're in jeopardy of continuing to move down. And then this is that trend line over here. This is the Japanese yen unwind. This is the shakeout. That is, if we clear the green arrow in this area, this highlighted over here becomes like if we get above that, well, at that point, I think everyone flips bullish, even those that are looking at 2026 bear market recession. At that point, I think that most likely they would have flip-flopped back again. I think that's fair. I think that's what would happen. If we break out above that, then yes, all-time highs are for sure at that point becoming a lot more probable. Right now, we remain under pressure and lots of repairs to be made. So, silver, what do y'all think of what's happening here with silver? You could see that over Friday, a close $83 on silver. Absolutely massive. I missed my target so far. Remember, I told you I'll see you at 90. It's not stopping there. And I don't mean in a straight line. Is that sensational? A lot of people are talking about $30 silver is in store. Is that sensational? Is this and what caused this? Or what caused the move on Friday? Silver up 10% on Friday, down 10% today. Is it nothing more than low liquidity? Or is there an act? It's hard to say, right? I know that obviously CME raised margin requirements for all metals on the COMEX. Silver over here, are you seeing silver and gold because of the higher margin requirements on the paper? Are you seeing some trades exited? Maybe. If indeed we're looking at with gold monetary reset happening in real time, if with silver you're looking at a change in dynamic where simply the amount of silver consumed each year for whether or not it's whatever industrial use, right? And obviously, when you look at things like the growing use of solar, the AI build out, like there is a growing industrial demand for silver right now. Elon tweeting that, yeah, this is a problem. Um, is that the reason we're seeing a higher price in silver, or does it have to do with the Chinese actually saying, okay, well, there's no more exporting of our silver. Anything that is comes from this country stays in this country, or are we seeing a repricing from the west to east, in much the way we saw happen with gold over the last year and a half? And are the east now saying, well, we're gonna? I don't know. It could be any of those things. But for me, someone who has held on to silver for a really long time, the price has almost become irrelevant. The only place that I would sell would be significantly higher. And for me, if we had a pullback, I think that they're for buying. And I think in 2000.